Hello guys, I'm JustHitSquare, and welcome back to another gameplay video of The Division. This is going to be one of my builds that I just currently built, and I've been working on a little bit. It's the Thompson M1928. Now, of course I've seen some builds on it and so on and so forth, but you know when I do make a build about anything that I do, either it be a gun, a skill, or gear sets, or whatever I do, the build will be based around whatever I pretty much call it. And this is the Thompson M1928 build. So, let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, what I'm going to be doing is actually coming right here and going to abilities. That's how I start out most of my videos with my builds. And hopefully if you're new, you enjoy the video. Alright, so what we're going to do is I pick booster shot. It's most of the thing. This is what I pick most of the time for most of my builds. I really do feel that is the best way to go when you're trying to heal yourself. It's just going to give you more damage output. It's going to make it to where you don't get as much damage, and so on and so forth. Now, it may not be the most potent as far as a self heal, but for what it does is it reduces incoming damage and increases outgoing damage. So it's really good. I really feel like it's a really good build, or a really good thing to actually pick. A very good skill. Now you can see that's 82,734 heal points, and it cooldown every 30.3 seconds. Now you can see that my skill power is 149,620. But we'll get into that here in a moment. Now we're going to the other skill. Now this is the turret. I have never made a build around the turret other than the fire turret, and I haven't never made one around shock turret or anything like that. They're not any gear sets or anything that's specifically towards the shock that I do know of. If they ever do make one come out, or I will be covering that, and later on I may make a build of it anyways. But I went through and took the active sensor one. So it says increases the turret's damage and pulses attacked targets, making them visible to all allies. And the damage on it is 3516. The range is 25 meters. The lifetime is 45 seconds. The cooldown is 30.3 seconds. Now the health on it is 173,709 from 77. It was originally 77,158, and originally the cooldown was 54 seconds. So I have almost got 100,000 more health on this than originally it was, and I've already cooled it down by at least 24 seconds, somewhere in that vicinity, and increased the damage on it almost 3,000. So that is with what little skill power I do have, and I did spec into some skill haste also to get it to where it is. Now, the reason why I did pick this is because I'm not running a pulse. I want to be able to pulse the enemies and know where they're at. And yes, it's very easy that if you do got a turret, if you come up against a shield guy or a big fire guy, you know, one of the cleaners, they can pretty much just kick it and destroy it, which is retarded. Or a big heavy from a rocker can do that as well. But that's when you try to put your turret in specific places that they cannot do that with. Now granted, it may not have the most health, but the thing about it is it's going to help suppress some enemies, and it's going to be able to help you push out more damage from your build. Now, that's the reason why I picked that. And I picked Recovery Link as well. Now we'll go into the talents. And you can see that, you know, it's pretty standard. I pick Adrenaline pretty much every time. And then I do got Triage because I do want to be able to try to get my skills cooled down even faster if I can heal somebody. So, uh, I try to spray on the ground my heal and people walk through it. And if not, you kind of try to tell them. And also put steady hands. Enter any cover to reduce recoil by 25% for 10 seconds. This is really handy as far as trying to handle the Thompson. I already do have quite a bit. I got the most stability that you can have on it, other than one other thing I will be mentioning here in a moment. But the recoil is how it goes up, fast as it goes up. So I do got a decrease on that by 25% for 10 seconds when I do enter cover. Now I also got on the move, kill a hostile while moving to reduce incoming damage by 15% for 10 seconds. Now, before we get started in on the rest of the build, I do want to say that this build is mainly for PC players. Now, I did build it upon in the PS4 version, and I do get a way of having fun with it in the PS4 or the Xbox or so on and so forth. But with how easy it is to aim in PC, hit headshots, so on and so forth, and do hip fire, I recommend, if you want to build this, if you're wanting to do hip fire with it, then you really do need to be playing on the PC to get the full benefit from this build. Now, I will tell you and show you the way I do run it without doing hip fire. And I pretty much do hip fire, but I'm in cover, and I'll show you what I mean. And the real reason why I do not do hip fire is because the rectals, I can't really see where I'm hitting other than when I do hit them. I think they need to fix that a little bit better, and it's not as easy. But anyways, guys, those are my talents. Now what I'm going to do is actually come into here. I'll show you the gun, and you can see there's 20% critical hit chance, and I've only gotten one to drop and arrive with the caches. It's 22.3k a bullet plus 2269, so we're looking at around 24,000 and 24,500, somewhere in that vicinity, that you're going to be able to get straight bullet, because you're getting the extra percentage off of it of being shooting from the hip. Now, talent is capable using the skill remove or improves the handling of your weapon for 15 seconds. So every time I use the skill, I will be able to improve my handling. Talent responsive, damage is increased by 10% when closer than 10 meters to the target. Okay, when you're shooting an SMG, you want to be 10 meters or less, because yes, you can be longer, because a lot of them do have longer distances before their damage does fall off. But within 10 meters, you should have a pretty steady gun, and you should be able to get the full benefit of your damage. There should not be any fall off. And the talent, the main talent for this exotic, is carefree. Hip fire damage is increased by 11%. So you can see that the hip fire goes into effect right there. You can see 2269. So right here, like I said, 24,000, 24.5k, somewhere in that vicinity, you've got that bullet coming out, and you have 66 in the mag. I do, and you will see down here that I did put a mod in it with an extended magazine, 120% magazine size. Yes, I do know they're like a 121 or somewhere in that vicinity, but I don't really feel like it's worth it to putting it in there. And you get a 4.5% reload speed and a 3% critical hit chance. Now you're probably wondering, why did I not increase the rate of my gun? The reason being is because this is what base is, 600 RPMs. If you have lower RPMs on a gun, then your gun will be more steadier than it would be if you have higher RPMs. So that's why I left it at 600, because I want to be able to keep it more steadier. And of course you can see that with a mod, you do not get any stability with it, and it's only got one mod slot with it. So then you have to start going into effect of, hey, how am I going to make this steadier? Alright, this build was made entirely, and as you can see, it's not Alpha Bridge. Okay, a lot of people that make this build want to make it with Alpha Bridge as well, just because there is a purple gun SMG that can be dropping. I think it's like a level 29 or 28, so on, whatever. And there is still a talent that's called Stable, as far as I can remember. Now, you can't get it on the guns that you got nowadays, like what I'm getting now. They've actually removed the skill from the skill tree for the talents or whatever for the guns. And therefore, they use that one in the Alpha Bridge, and boom, you got an extra. It used to be 35% extra stability, but now it's only 10% because they nerfed it a little bit. Well, nerfed it quite a bit. The thing is, I feel like they should have just completely taken away. You can't roll it anyways on gold or exotics, so they need to get rid of it altogether. The only way that would be useful is if you are running Alpha Bridge, and I wanted to do this build without having to rely on that extra percentage. I wanted to show you that I built this build without having to do that, without having to go to Alpha Bridge. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and we're not going to talk about our gear just yet, guys. What we're going to do is start naming off. The primary DPS is 267, 693. Toughness is 291, 935, and the skill power is 149, 620. Firearms is 7062, stamina is 3305, and electronics is 4655. Now, as you can see, when you go in here, you can see that I had to have 4790 at least on firearms to get capable, and at least 2874 on stamina, which that ain't really too hard to do. But so we're going to go over to the character, and as you can see, I got a 29% critical hit chance, of 25% critical hit damage, and 50% headshot damage. You can see the stability is a 37%. Okay, this is how much you can get max without the extra 10% off of the purple guns that can roll stable. So if you had that, that'd be 47%. But remember, I do reduce my recoil if I'm in cover. So it's 33% on stability. And you can see the range is 16 meters, reload is 2.1 seconds. And what we're going to do is damage to leech is 28%, enemy armor damage is 17%, and you'll see that my skill haste is 33%, and my toughness is 29 or 291,935, and the max health is 197,245. Now armor is 32.44. Yes, it's not 33%, but you know, I consider this pretty good. I have worked on this gear set, actually putting the pieces together and just letting them pile up in my inventory and my stash for probably a month. And then I finally just took the time, went through them, and built it from the ground up. And I'm sorry if there's any kids that do watch my videos. You may hear, a little cursing here and there. It's just, this is the way it is, but you're not going to hear it all the time. I just wanted to say, I do apologize if I do offend anyone. And once again, I'm not saying that this build is the best build. I'm just saying it's the best build that I've made with this gun and that I possibly could make. Alright, so what we're going to do is get out of there, and now we're going to go ahead and talk about the rest of the build. Now, we're going here. I do got 3 striker pieces and 3 predator mark pieces, and the reason being is because with the striker with 3 pieces, you're going to automatically get 20% stability with the 2, and then 3 pieces you get 10% enemy armor damage. So that's going to help you out regardless. It's really going to be good, and there's where 20% of the stability comes into effect. Alright guys, now we'll show you. I've got 1268 roll on firearms, and I've got 737 on stamina, 8% skill haste, 14,582 on health, and 47% ammo capacity. Now we go down here to the bottom, and I got 268 stamina mods, with one of them has 3228 health, and the other one has 3256 health. Now we'll go over here to the backpack, and with the backpack is 1295 armor. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. 1978 armor on my chest. Oh yeah, I forgot. Alright, so we go over here, and we will see that we got 1272 firearms rolled on this backpack, and 17% stability and 55% ammo capacity. Right there alone is your 37% stability, and this is the only way that you can get the stability. So you know, I'm just letting you know right now, if you're trying to build a build, you do at least need 2 pieces of striker to get the 20% stability, and you do need the backpack rolled instability. It's the only piece that can be rolled instability, and the striker is the only 2 pieces in the whole entire game that can actually have that bonus on it. And of course, you got the other, a random SMG, purple, like a 28, 29 level. I can't really remember because I never went into detail about it, but it does have 10% stability. So the max stability you could get on this gear, uh, honestly, you'd have to have the 4 pieces. Yeah, you could have 4 pieces Alpha Bridge and 2 Striker, and you could get 47% stability. But I really just don't see that it's honestly worth it. But hey, you guys may, because it would give you an extra slot for another talent to make it a little bit more potent. But I want to go a different way. But anyways, guys, like I was saying, 17% stability and 55% ammo capacity. We go down here. We have a 266 electronics mod with a 3% skill haste and 6% first aid self heals. And then we go down to the mask. It's a striker's mask with a 987 armor roll on it with 1522 electronics, attributes of 9970 skill power, 12% damage to elite. And we go down, we have another electronics mod with 261 electronics and 3% skill haste. Now we'll get into our Predator's Mark. We got a Predator's Mark gloves that is 929 armor, roll on a 1241 in firearms, 6% critical hit chance, 9% skill haste, and 7% enemy armor damage. And we go down, we have a Predator's Mark knee pads with 1621 armor, 1271 firearms, 16,303 health, 16% damage to elites, 46% increased kill XP, and 32% blind death resistance. Now the mods are 263 electronics with 3% skill haste, and a performance mod of 6% first aid self heal. Then we go to the holster. It's a 944 armor Predator's Mark holster with a 1270 firearms roll, 1213 stamina roll, and a 1249 electronics roll with a 7% skill haste. And the performance mod is 6% first aid self heal. So this is how I'm able to damage elites, peel through enemy armor, and be able to get the damage that I do get. Now the only thing left other than just talking more about this is actually showing this in action, and I do love to do that at the very end of the video, so hopefully you've stayed this long. And hey, let's show you some damage output and show you what I can do with this. Alright guys, so let's show you what this build can do. So what I like to do is get in cover, and these guys don't seem like they want to cooperate, so you can see that I'm not too fond of the projectile. But what we're going to do is place your turret where it's going to be able to hurt the most. You can see how steady this is. The thing about it is you know, I'm getting steady hands acquired too. So now responsive is something that's really good. Like look at this, it's melting him. Alright, I got no health on kills. So that was without actually having to go into cover to do, I feel like I'm more steadier during that because I got the steady hands going on it, so that before it gives me 25% less recoil. And the thing about, you know, you get steady hands and you can see, let it go away, and once it goes away, you get it about every 3 to 5 seconds. So, alright, let's try to give you a demonstration on how steady it was, and or how steady it really is. Now what I'm going to do is come over here. Alright, now we'll shoot at the wall. This is without holding it down. This is holding it. Alright, so say you're just running and gunning and hip firing in the DZ, and this is out holding it. If you was in the DZ, so you're holding it, yeah, you can get pretty good stuff coming out of that, like pretty good damage, because you can be very steady, and that's what makes this gun so good, because it's giving you extra damage out of that, because you're doing hip fire. So now here's another thing. Getting on this, you can see that this is with steady hands, how steady it is. That's just insane, and that's without holding it. So this is, I'm going to try to show you once steady hands goes off. Now you can see this is without holding it with steady hands applied, and this is without steady hands. There is some difference, I can tell, and that's without holding it. Now you're probably asking, would this be a good build for the DZ? Well, all my builds are built primarily for the PvE. And nobody has really in the comments ever said, can you show me a good build for PvP? They've actually said stuff like, I wonder if this build would be good in PvP. So what I'm going to do for you guys in the coming months, I don't know when it's going to happen, because I don't only cover the Division, I cover Destiny as well. And those are my two main games. So everybody knows that Destiny 2 is coming out, and it may be out before you even see this video, because I like spacing out my build videos, because it takes so much time to put into them and effort. So, but anyways, I do a lot of Destiny videos. I did do, but now I'm just down to Xur. But I do a lot of Division videos. So when Destiny 2 comes out, if it's not already by the time you see this, then I'll be into that a lot too. So here's the thing, guys. I'm going to make a PvP build. It may be months before it hits, but I will be making one for you guys. Now, would this do good in the PvP aspect of the game? Well, there's a good possibility that it could, because if you're just firing, aiming with responsive, that's what I've got on my gun. And once again, I will show you responsive, and damage is increased by 10% when closer than 10 meters to the target. Now, most targets in the DZ, you're going to be fighting within 10 meters. So if you're within 10 meters, you'll get a damage buff, and it's around, I think I shoot around 24 to 25k a bullet by zooming. Alright. Now, if I don't zoom, then I'm like 27k or somewhere in that vicinity. So if I am hip firing with responsive active and 11% bonus damage off of the Thompson, then I'm doing like 27k. Now that's on NPCs. I don't know how it really would scale to a individual in the DZ, but considering that you can pretty much hip fire and not have to worry about them trying to hit you as much, because a lot of times people is not good at moving targets, so this would probably make a good build. Now all I say is build the damn thing, go into the DZ, and let me know, guys, in the comments, did it work out for you in the DZ? Because I'd like to know, but I would say it would. So anyways, guys, hopefully you did enjoy the video. And guys, if this video was helpful to you, then consider giving a like. And guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click that little bell over there and click notifications when you do, and you'll never miss another upload of mine. And guys, this has been JustHitSquare. Hopefully you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.